April 22nd, 1954. The Army McCarthy hearings are televised, followed by an episode of Talking Red with Chris Hardwick. Welcome to The Revisionists. I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Zach Powers.
And our guest is a friend of the show, one of Denver's most brilliant comics, who just got back from an awesome tour. Please welcome back Christy Buckley.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Christy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We are going to be talking Genghis Khan, which is an episode we intended to do a while ago, but then...
in November.
Mm-hmm. November 9th, to be specific.
Yeah, and we got a little sidetracked by America, so instead we just had like more of a
sad
jam
conversation,
a cathartic,
sort of a therapy.
Yelling into the void.
Yes,
yeah.
And we decided
the uncaring void.
We would all be better by the holiest of holy days, 420 today, the day we are recording.
Of course, yeah, that's.
It's also a very crazy day in Denver.
Yeah,
yes, it is.
I waited till after this to smoke. I haven't smoked at all, you guys. You're welcome.
Zach,
Denver history on this day is both joyous and tragic all at once. It's a big day for Denver.
Yeah, it's a really fun day. Never forget Columbine. Shout out. And... it's good, and it's Hitler's birthday. We could.
That has nothing to do with. Denver has no.
Birthday. I love birthdays. You guys know I have a show called Birthday Party, and I will not look over birthdays, not even Hitler's.
The Hitler's birthday party part, though, has very little connection to Denver. I think, as far as I'm aware, we haven't done the Hitler episode yet, so I could be wrong.
Oh gosh, call me back. I know so much. Not in like a creepy way. Like I was also a history major. I'm a history teacher. Mm-hmm. So that was my main squeeze. World War I really is my main. It's my main boo. History boo. Do you guys have history boos, or is it just okay?
Everybody's got their history. I mean, they call it the Great War for a reason.
Yeah, there's a new PBS miniseries, or at least it's new to me. I get it on the PBS app, but I'm very excited to watch it. Anyways, we're not here for that right now.
No. We're here to talk about Genghis Khan, and also listeners, what we do on the show, each episode we take a topic from history. One person presents the official version of events. That will be Christy this time.
Yes. And
another person presents a crazy-ass alternate history, which will be Zach. And the winning story gets to become the truth. If you listened last time, then you'll know that Timmy Lasley's alternate history for Abram Gannibal won out.
In the alternate history, if I recall correctly, Abram Gannibal was like Simba from The Lion King at first, but then he had a meet cute with the Tsar, and then he had a gay period in France. Mm-hmm. And I think otherwise it was mostly an exaggerated version of what really happened.
Yeah, basically that. Thank you, Zach. Also,
if you want to hear it, you should listen to the last episode.
It's a really good episode.
It'll be great.
Super problematic phrasing from all of us at times. But Christy, if you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
All right.
I do my official version first?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Genghis Khan. Did I already say it wrong? Genghis. Let me tell you a little bit about my history with Genghis before I give you his official history. I took Introduction to Asian Civilization with Dr. Liu, and he did not speak English, okay? And he would start with a very long, clear whiteboard, and then by the end of the class, it was just full of chicken note scratches. And then he also wore a very baggy suit. So like he would be reaching up to write, and he would erase half his notes as he wrote, and he would never fill them in. So I'm going to be honest.
Of course, as the secrets disappeared into his sleeves.
Yeah, my Genghis Khan. Might have a few holes, okay? It might have a few holes. Will you just tell me?
You were making.
Oh, okay.
Like
just because I don't.
Like you were eating
I'm
an unripe banana.
No, I'm looking at you like. Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if I'm cold. Am I hot? Am I warm? Genghis Khan.
Close enough. I think that's
Genghis
an acceptable pronunciation.
He was the emperor of the Mongol Empire, essentially. I mean, he created it. He was in charge of, he started with invasions and raids, and he slowly, through force and rape and violence, took over all of Mongolia and a lot of the Eurasian continent of the time. This is during the 12th and 13th centuries. He's kind of the father of the nation even now. The interesting part about Genghis Khan is most people in Mongolia can still do a DNA test and trace back to Genghis Khan because he had so many illegitimate children that that everybody's related to him. He's literally their father.
Yeah, and like not just in Mongolia, people say that like throughout Europe.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah. It's kind of Game of Thrones-y where there was like a lot of different tribes and he was just like, nah, I'm going to come in. It's mine now. It's very violent. Covered a lot of land. Very good fighter. From
also,
what,
a lot of
what
nudity,
they say.
just like Game of
Lots
Thrones.
of nudity. Lots of nudity. Lots of rape. And he would travel all over, like constantly just on these kind of campaigns, if you will. But it kind of united the whole region. It actually formed, the Silk Road, which is kind of a precursor to, definitely
that
Marco Polo.
drug selling place online.
Yeah, Marco Polo, of course.
Yeah, of course, MarcoPolo.net.
MarcoPolo.net.
Where
No,
you can get
it's
heroin and the secrets of Paschetti.
It's a precursor to the Silk Road, which is, the trade route through China. And it's also kind of a precursor to Christopher Columbus, if you really want to get into it, because, he was trying to go the other way around because nobody wanted to go that way. So if you want to see the great grandfather of globalization in general, Genghis Khan, everybody.
Let's hear it for him.
Yeah, give it up. Whoa, thank you. But he had a lot of sons, and he kind of died anonymously in battle. He was buried in an unmarked grave where they've tried many times to try and find the grave. They don't know. It's probably well gone at this point, but you never know. And he then split up his land between his sons at the time. One of the things I thought was most interesting about him is that he had a really close relationship with like Confucianism and Confucius himself. He actually even though he's like this really brutal, actually horribly violent man, he also like had this like deep search for religion. Like he would actually have Confucius like meet him out on his campaigns, like make him travel hundreds of miles just to like get his counsel. And they like actually had like a pretty close friendship.
Okay, yeah, that's like a
That
weird
could be
buddy
the
cop
word.
movie.
It is a really weird buddy cop movie. Even like
One's the good
close to
cop,
the end of
one
his
is
life,
Genghis
Confucius
Khan.
is like, I can't, I'm too tired. And he's like,
I
no,
think-
you will.
I think nowadays, the reason you were hesitating with the word friendship is that nowadays it's called a bromance, I
Yeah, you're right.
So,
right.
yeah.
Or
Of course.
or kidnapping even
Yeah.
perhaps
Yeah,
is
that's-
kind of maybe what it was like.
believe. Well,
But
bromance is starting the strangest places. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've seen I Love You, Man, but
I have. You're right.
initially
You're right,
they
you can
kind of
start
don't get
anywhere.
along, I think.
Yeah, but I think that's really interesting. And Confucianism is all kind of about finding the power within yourself. And so I think that confidence thing is absolutely the delusion that Genghis Khan needed in order to like take over thousands and thousands of acres and miles and places and countries and people and, in the millions. It's insane. And it's said that he's probably killed over... way more than Hitler, if we're getting into it, way more.
Smile that came
Just
across your
way
face.
more than Hitler. If we're doing like murder Olympics
So
here.
long, Hitler.
Oh
tears up
yeah,
collage. Brings
you're
back-
not my hero anymore.
I think maybe what I've heard about Genghis Khan is that while if you crunch the numbers and compare him to Hitler or Stalin, it may or may not be that he killed more people than them, but definitely he killed more people personally than maybe anybody else who's ever lived.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
like with his own two hands. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
He like died on his horse or something. Like he was in battle. Like it was for legit. Like he never gave up. I could be wrong, but I think he was like, there's reports that in battle he was like knocked off his horse and killed in battle.
yeah. Sorry, I was.
And quickly looking it up, the first result I found was Genghis Khan killed so many people that it was actually good for the environment, new study claims.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
No, there is like stuff like even to go back to the Great War or whatever, like that was the same thing. They say that the population would be way more crazy right now if it wasn't for the World War I and World War II. So
I mean, Russia alone would probably be.
Yeah, that was 20 million people died
Yeah.
in Russia in World War I. So it's insane.
Preview. We're getting to World War I next in our
So,
next
Oh my
large
God.
discussion of
I
history.
will be right back
Yay.
in 3 episodes. Anyways.
yep. So just officially stating our position here at the Revisionist that mass slaughter is good. Ultimately,
For the
great.
environment.
For the environment, not for like
Yeah.
dudes or whatever.
Not for the people who are horribly killed.
Yeah, it's not cool for dudes, but the environment.
That's our fucking campaign slogan. Mass slaughter. Not good
cool.
for Craig. Good
Yeah.
for trees.
Not good for dudes. Yeah, you know. Anyways.
Well, Christy, thank you.
Yes, there's my version. There's my official. I don't know if you guys have anything to add to his thing, but if you want to get into it, my version is it's very Game of Thrones. That's so hot right now. Number 2, he literally like spread his seed everywhere. You know. Number 3, he's the father of globalization. So if you like that, cool. If not, probably not good for you.
It's not necessarily a song of ice and fire, but it is a song of fucking and killing.
Yes.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I also just pictured Bernie Sanders coming out strongly against Genghis Khan for being the father of globalization.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's as meaningless a gesture as everything else.
Yeah.
When Christy was describing her professor, I was imagining a foreign Bernie Sanders.
That's exactly
like,
what I was
very
saying.
hard.
Like in the car, I was kind of thinking about how to describe him, and I was going to be like, he's very Bernie Sanders, like very the tie was too big and too long, and it was just like, why? This is nothing fits.
Looks
Bernie
like he's made of
Sanders.
spare parts.
His belt, it goes right below his like nipples, like the belt
But-
on his pants, just very high.
Yeah, like he's a little more tan and his hair is still thick and dark and he's got a cigarette
Very
and a baguette.
messy.
And that's
Yep.
basically the guy.
Yeah.
Wait, where'd the baguette come from? Okay, anyway.
He's just vaguely foreign. The country of
Okay,
origin is
vaguely
unclear. We threw the baguette in there as a red herring.
Yeah, great.
Oh,
and he's
okay.
playing hockey.
Yep.
All right. Zach, if you're ready with the alternate history.
A lot of my history focuses on a few aspects of Genghis Khan's life when he was a little bit younger, before he was the
early years.
ruler of all of it's like one
The
of
beast
those
saga.
like
Muppet
that new
babies.
Yep.
or that Big Bang spin-off show that they're doing for some reason.
I did not hear about
Why?
this.
No.
They're doing a show that is the Sheldon character, but the young years.
Oh,
who's playing it?
Mm-hmm.
Still,
He's being played
Parsons.
by the kid who played Ziggy in Big Little Lies. If there's any Big
nope.
Little Lie heads out
Whoa, definitely not me though.
There are some, for sure.
Not in this room or on this podcast.
I have no idea what anyone's talked about in the last 30 seconds, but there are people who do, and that's the important
Yep.
thing.
there. Okay. Well, regardless, in Genghis Khan, the early years, he was often referred to actually as, before he was Khan, as Temujin. That was kind of the name. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but that was the name he was given at birth. He had a fairly large group of brothers and sisters, but more important than that, I'm going to focus on his friends, including one guy who was real named Jamuka. And,
Nice.
The fact that you said it was real was a kind of a dead giveaway.
well, okay, so I'm kind of just... A lot of this was untouched, so I want to clarify that the parts that are not entirely made from whole cloth, even though I think it should be somewhat apparent.
Yeah, please fill in. Like I said, he erased the whiteboard with his shirt. I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, when Genghis Khan was young, his older brother Begtar was kind of the big man on campus. He was first in line for ascension, but, Genghis Khan and his group of friends, including Jamuka and Omer and Muzwan, they were like the closest buddies, and they would go on all kinds of wild adventures. So one time, the four of them and Genghis Khan's brother Begtar were like, I heard there's a dead body out in the woods. We should go on a trip to go find the dead body.
Sure.
And so they did, and they ran into the junkyard dog, and they sang songs from the 50s, but whatever century this was,
Yeah,
50s?
it was more of an 1150 type of situation.
Yeah.
It was throat singing.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Exactly.
I don't even know if that was racist. I think it was just bad. I think it was just scary, kind of. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, you can imagine how heartwarming a tale this might be. So they finally, after many days, get to the place where the body is, and then Genghis Khan killed his older brother Begtar, and there was a body there. And so they finally saw their first dead body. That's also based on truth in part, in that Genghis Khan killed his older brother to take his place as the dude in charge.
Man, see, and that kind of shit I can get behind, because it's like, take what you want, motherfucker. You know, I don't know if this is clean podcast. I'm sorry.
No,
you can
Oh,
beat
no,
anything out. But I don't know. It's terrible. He's a terrible man. But also, I'm like, I get it. You've only got one life to live, my friend. Take the life by the braids of your older brother's fucking scalped head. I don't know.
Yeah, it just has a picture of the head. It's just like,
Yeah.
hashtag best life.
Yep.
Squad goals is a bag of heads, basically.
I should clarify before I go any further. I had originally, on election day, written, or at least had come up with the idea for this alternate history. And then I didn't touch it for 6 months and lost my original notes. And so I kind of scraped it together from what I could remember of what I came up with like 5 months ago.
Sure.
So there you are.
No, you're doing good. I'm
Anyways.
really impressed.
These four friends grew up even more, and of course Genghis Khan sort of eventually had an arranged marriage at, of course, the marriageable age of 12 years old. 8. I think maybe that was for women. I don't know if it was younger for women and men, but fairly young. And of course his wife, who was named Bort.
Hot.
Yeah. Was kidnapped at one point, and also true, and Genghis Khan and his 4 friends went on an epic quest to save his kidnapped beloved, where they had to outsmart the smartest man in the world and befriend Andre the Giant.
Okay.
And
I have a very specific set of skills, and I will
Yeah,
find you.
that's where I was
Kill
let's
you.
say he said that also. And of course, Jamunka had to kill the man who killed his own father. You may notice my tactic in this one was finding a lot of pop culture shit and throwing it together while I was at work.
You may have noticed that. Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I thought this was real.
Yeah, but they went on a bunch of adventures as youngsters after saving his wife. They gained the power to turn into animals and fight parasitic slugs that were taking over the earth. They went ahead and made a virginity pact. The last one to lose.
I'm
Confucius,
charmed by the lack of
Confucius was
effort.
on that too as well. He was in on it. It was like a 3-way pact.
They
Yeah.
had to run the naked
I mean,
mile.
Celibacy.
The average marriage age was between 8 and 12, so the virginity pact was actually pretty short-lived. But they did make it. But eventually, when they got a little older, in their late teens, early 20s, they sort of drifted apart because Jamuka was interested in, like, sort of conquering his enemies and destroying them and rending them under his feet. And while Temujin was into that, he also had this idea that maybe he could unite the hordes, and that if he had a little bit of forgiveness, ultimately he could create a larger horde and take over a larger area of Mongolia and sort of spread the social influence of the horde throughout. And so while he was working on this kind of idea of spreading social influence, so you could, like, see somebody who you were, you know, you used to know back when you were like 15 or 16 and just hear about what they were up to nowadays, and they're pregnant, and that's weird, and then just go about your life. While he was spreading these ideas, for a while, Jamuka was in on it with him, even though he wasn't, particularly adept at this kind of big picture thinking. And ultimately, they started a sort of horde social network.
God damn it!
Which I just called Tribester, because I totally ran out of room to come up with a better name for it.
Yeah, of course.
And
it's called Facebooks aren't quite a thing yet.
Right. It was called The Tribester at first, but Timberlake Khan told them to drop the at some point. And he also told them 1,000,000 miles conquered isn't cool. 1,000,000,000 miles is cool, which turned out to be a little bit over aggressive because the world is only 200 million miles.
Drum solo, I might be inclined to.
But eventually, Temujin fucked Jamuka out of this contract, and they became enemies. Genghis Khan, Temujin went to Mongol College.
Oh,
home of the
home of the Mongols.
Actually,
well, the
sorry,
Mongrels.
Mongrels. It's the Mongol Mongrels. That's great.
Yeah.
So I was about to correct you, but it sounds like you got it right.
I did, yeah. It's the Mongol Mongrels, and of course, their slogan was Mongols score goals, Mon, because it was founded by a Jamaican.
Sure. Of course. Globalization. I told you.
Yeah. He was the father of globalization. And after college, Jamuka and him kind of sort of started working together again. Jamuka had become a major leader of the Mongol hordes, while Temujin was developing his education and continuing to develop these ideas of uniting the hordes. And they had differences about how to run, like different ideas about how to run the horde. And Jamuka, his opinion was that they had fought for every corner of the domain that they had. And he didn't care about uniting the hordes or this new way of thinking. He just wanted his corners, basically. And he famously said, "Maybe I'm just a Mongol, I suppose, but I want my corners." And this didn't fly with Temujin, who had a new way of thinking about the business. And ultimately he connected with their friends from childhood who had also lost favor with him, Omer and Muzwan.
Fuck off.
And had them take out a hit on Jamukin, who of course was killed. And it was a sad tale. He thought back on their squabbles over life, like that social media one, which of course ended with 70 men being boiled alive. That's also true.
He did that?
And Jamuka did that.
So brutal.
At one point, yeah. And after that, he settled down as the leader of the horde. It wasn't drama-free, of course. There were problems. There were betrayals. Who could forget his drama with Christopher and Tony B and Big Pussy and Joe Pantaleone.
and Joe the actor and not the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget who he played. And eventually he died, maybe at a diner, but maybe later on. And that's the real story of Genghis Khan.
Clearly.
Oh, God damn it. Well, before we get to judgment, I'm trying to process that. Listeners, you can always ask us a question or leave us a comment at revisionistpodcast.com or on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Also, review the podcast on iTunes, which is super helpful. Christy.
Written reviews especially.
Yes. Christy, you co-host Empty Girlfriend, which is one of the best podcasts around, if I may say.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about it for a minute?
Yeah, I co-host a lot like Zach and Brian do. We do it over Skype. So I co-host with Haley Driscoll, who's in LA, and we have a lot of LA comics, Denver comics, traveling comics on our show to talk about relationships. It's love tips and life clips from unqualified professionals. So definitely check that out. We get into a lot of wacky stuff. We pull questions from the internet, try to help people or not. You never know. And we're actually not really capable of it. So we're all just learning together. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
And of course, you're a member of Pussy Bros.
I am. Yeah, Pussy Bros. That's another group of women I like to work with here in Denver. Janae Burris, Rachel Weeks, and I'm Christy Buckley, of course. We have a show first Friday of the month at El Chorrito, 7 p.m., where we like to have some local comics and some traveling comics come through. It's a free show. And then second Monday of the month, we have a show at Rack House Pub, 8 p.m., and that one we actually bring in some touring headliners. We actually bring them in some of our favorite comics. So this month, May 15th, we have Alan Strickland Williams here to do a set. And so he's here to make you guys laugh. I don't know. What are we supposed to be doing here? No. So yeah, those are my two projects, but I'm all over Denver doing comedy. I have to do a show in like 2 hours. So we're good. Every day.
Zach, listeners can still catch back episodes of Stage of Fools, and you were just on Kill by Kill.
Actually, that one is... I messed up the order, so that one is coming out this coming Friday when this gets released. So look for
that. As for me, Nighttime Tonight, third Thursday of every month. Next one is coming up May 18th. That's also in the middle of Crom Week, so it'll be a really fun time. We got some out-of-town guests coming in. The day this comes out, actually, Christy and I will both be at Comedy Room, El Chorrito for Designated Drunkard. Byron and
Saturday.
Katie's new show. Yeah.
Yes.
Which will be a ton of fun.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a cool show that people are running in the South in New Orleans, and you can come and watch us, and they'll let you know what our weird tics are, whether it is I like touch my face too much or I say a certain word too much, maybe laugh at my own joke too much. I don't know, but they'll tell the audience whatever our weird thing is, and then the audience, every time we do it during our set, the audience drinks. So it's a lot of fun. It's fun for the audience, and I hope it's fun for me too.
Yay. Also, late May, I will be on the road a little bit. I got a couple shows lined up in Minneapolis, and then there'll be setting up more right now, so just follow me on social media, and
what shows are you doing in Minneapolis?
Boy Kisses.
Yes, good.
And New Comic Book Day.
Yes, Grace is the best.
Yeah, and I have a couple. I will be posting that full itinerary as we get closer to that day. So
awesome.
Stay tuned for that. As for Judgment, which I almost forgot to do, we've been doing 43 of these. I think the real hero of the story might be Professor Lou.
Yeah, you're right.
That's probably true.
I think that you're right, and I think he needs a win, really. And he's definitely listening.
I gotta listen to this.
This is the 43rd episode. I had to put this together. This is the George W. Bush of our podcasts.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's a classic podcast anniversary, the George W. Bush episode.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody knows it. Brian,
the episode that
seems
better in retrospect than it ever actually was.
Did you get me anything for the George W. Bush anniversary? I got you the accusation that you have WMDs.
That is so sweet.
I got you Florida.
Oh, excellent.
It's 420 today, so I got you guys a Columbine commemorative plaque.
Did you steal that from the actual? I think did you steal that from the actual memorial with a crowbar?
Yeah, I did. I don't have money.
Very thoughtful.
They're not using it.
That's true. It's just sitting there collecting dust.
No, that is true. Christy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Zach and I are both Columbine graduates.
Oh, I love it. It's so much weirder than I even knew. I did not know that. It's fine. We're laughing.
Like,
We're laughing.
we
It's
weren't there
great.
for it,
That's
and-
good. My cousins were. I should be more sensitive, but it's fine. They're fine. I mean, most of it, everyone is. Oh God, is this over yet? I have to go. I've just ended my
we
career.
technically don't have a judgment yet, but
Real history, I think, just because Professor Lou is magical.
He
We'll
is.
do that. For everyone here at the Revisionist, before anything
fair
else
call.
super
I
problematic,
phoned this one in because I was busy at work.
No, I understand, man. I get it.
I understand. For everyone here at the Revisionist, I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Christy
I'm Zach
Buckley.
Pat-
Oh, sorry. I'm still Christy.
Stepping
Let
on
me
a-
say my name. Go ahead. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm Brian Flynn.
I'm Christy Buckley.
I'm Zach Powers. I got devoted to third place somehow, even though I'm the constant co-host of this show.
White men always want to win. Go for us. Whatever.
Have a good time.
Thank you. Bye, Zach.